Hey, North Shore, I'm Stan, and this week I'm joined by Carolyn.
Hello.
Thank you for being here again. It's been a little bit since we've been able to have an after party, but we're excited to be with you. And we're in a series where we're talking about how Jesus can change everything for anyone. And this week we were talking about just learning to have a generous spirit and a generous posture in our lives, and really just seeing the world as a place filled with God's abundance. And so we don't have to live with a scarcity mindset. And we're aware, whenever, I think sometimes people think like churches just love to talk about money. In my experience, no church ever loves to talk about money. We all feel awkward about it and don't like doing it. But it is a necessary fact of discipleship. It plays a big role. And so we're acknowledging that awkwardness and also just saying, how can we lean into learning how to be generous? Like, Carolyn, what have been some things that have been helpful for you, or you've noticed this has helped me to have a generous posture with people?
Yeah, it's kind of a journey. So I think taking stock of where you are to know how to be generous. One is, how much money do we have? How much time do we have? How much resources do we have? And if we're bogged down with no margin, no time, and a bunch of debt, it's really hard to be generous. So taking time to just assess all of that, and then
which even in that is like very similar to Sabbathing, right? It's like not trying to add in another major thing to put in at the end of all the other stuff, but it's more to go, okay, how do I rearrange things so that way I can have this be part of my life?
Yeah. I think looking at what you already have and, any changes you need to make. And then, another way of going is that regular giving, is deciding every month we're going to give money to church. And I think that also for some people make people uncomfortable. Like, do I really trust church? Are they using my money? Well, they just are money grabbers, and there's kind of a cynicism sometimes with money in church. So if that's where your heart lands, and maybe leaning into getting connected, serving, going to family meetings, investigating the budget. So maybe that's somewhere to go, so that heart feels more on board and excited about giving.
Yeah. Or, even just like, something like money feels like a very tangible thing, and money obviously accomplishes a lot of things, but like, as someone who just filled in the toddler room the other day, because we were like literally out of arms to hold babies, like we need people to snuggle babies. Like we need people to be willing to give and be generous with like their presence or their time or their energy. Like those things almost make more difference in a church setting than the actual dollar amount.
Yeah. I think there's a balance in that because Jesus talks about money a lot, because it tends to be what we look to for our security, and he wants to be our security. So finding that, am I grasping this tightly instead of Jesus so I feel secure? And maybe I need to let that go, and maybe I need to give in other ways, trusting he's going to take care of me. So our security can be in him.
Yeah, as a reminder, we're in the season of Lent right now, and Lent is all about kind of simulating experiences of scarcity and seeing how God shows up. And it's just that reminder is like, even when the resources are scarce, I was reminded of, basically in the Old Testament, there's points where God tells his people like, hey, wipe out all the debts, just give everyone a grand reset, just kind of set everything back to normal so everyone can just try over again. And Moses, like, as he's writing about it, he's like, I can hear you guys going, well, what about? And he just says, God says he'll take care of you. Like, don't worry about it. Like he's got it in control. And so you can be generous, even if you know that like, I might not ever actually get this money back if I lend it to that person. And like, that is like really hard to like get to that point. But if we can like really understand what God is like and how he operates in this world, and that it's a place of abundance, we can have that kind of carefreeness that Jesus describes in Matthew 6 or 7, one of those chapters.
One of those chapters, right? Yeah. And I think how we change our verbiage too. When we're talking to God about our finances, like, this is your money. God, you've given us this house, our health, our budget, our income, whatever. This is all yours. So where do you want to put it? And we want to be good stewards of what you've given us. So even just sometimes changing your language can bring more of a generosity spirit.
And I really hope that you hear our heart that all of this is invitational. It's a step to bring into your discipleship. And if you still need time to process and you still have things that you want to work through and hard questions you want to ask, this is an open church to dialogue about those sorts of things. And so there's no pressure. It's all invitation. I hope you heard that in Scotty's posture and language as well. But yeah, we would love for us to all to begin to learn the kind of generosity that Christ showed to us first on the cross and how we can extend that to the world and to our church.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Thanks for spending some time with us and enjoy your evening.
Have a good conversation.